Hello and welcome to another Overpaid Over the Bar with me, Anthony, looking back at game week 34 and ahead, not just to game week 35, but the last 4 weeks of the FPL season 25-26, because now we know all the fixtures that will occur, at least in case there are meteorites hitting the earth, we can pretty much uh, decide exactly who we need for the last 4 weeks of the season. I'm going to play my wild card. Let's see how I did in game week 34, first of all. And the answer is badly. So I this is where the wheels really could start to come off for my Premier League season. I'm down to rank 30, overall rank 39.5K, and my strategy of saving my wild card to game week 35 now looks like a mistake. And if I could go back, I would definitely change it. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But first of all, the players I picked, well, I was hoping Timber would get fit. He didn't. Alderete was fit, but then they let in 4 goals. Or was it five? I don't even know. Salah went off injured. Wilson didn't do anything. Solanke went off injured. A lot of people had bad luck with this kind of thing this week, but my points total, because I didn't really have enough players out, was a miserable 33 points, possibly my worst game week of the season. I don't want to get carried away. It could improve over the next 4 weeks, and obviously I have the advantage of the wild card. But looking back, I think we can safely say that if even if I'd played my wild card in 33, when I played my free hit, would have been better, because actually all the players that you needed for the wild card for the double game week are also useful this week, more or less. So teams like Brighton and Leeds have good fixtures in the next couple of weeks, and they were also useful in the double game week. This is something I never pointed out to you. So if you follow my channel for good advice, I think you can safely say you've been let down at this point, because I really said it was valuable to wait, because you'd have the advantage of going for the players that would have better fixtures in 35 to 30, but there aren't really that many. Anyway, that's enough of me moaning. I appreciate my rank is high, and I'm very grateful for that. So Freddie got 41 points. He's still only 22 points behind me, also has his wild card to play. So this is actually, at the end of this season, we're going to have a contest for who's going to win overpaid over the bar. And my confidence has been very much dented, I can tell you, by what got last week. So I'm not counting my chickens here. I think Freddie has a very good chance. He's much less burdened by seriousness in his FPL approach than I am. So that could be in his favor. Um, who did well? Well, again, Bayern Brew, Craig got 70 points, and Rob Speak got 71. Now, these were the outstanding free hits. Rob moved back into the top 10. That's very creditable. Anybody else get high points? There was 65 for Lincoln Barbosa in Brazil. Otherwise, everyone got around 60. People playing the free hit got around 60 or so. Piers did reasonably well there. Again, looking at the top 10, Rob in position 10 is on 960K. So that's the whole of the top 10 in the in the top 1 million. So these are all casual players. I'm the most serious player. We can say Craig is a little bit serious, but I'm the most serious player out of anybody in this league. They're all friends of mine, these people, or related to me, and also friends. So this is very, very good for a casual league, I have to say. Look at this. We've got 10 players in a season which people said was the most difficult season to predict for ages. We've got 10 players in the top 1 million K. So let's keep it going to the end of the season. I think even Matt Cox might be in the top million in position 11. But I'm very happy about that. And I think we've all done really well. So let's keep it going. So looking at the fixtures now, I've especially got um, I've got on the FPL site there. You can see the fixtures for the rest of the season. Now, if you're making transfers this week, or if you have your wild card, you need to be looking at the next 2 weeks and the next 4 weeks. Because in game week 36, we have a double game week involving Manchester City and Crystal Palace. The problem with this is that Crystal Palace, if you look at their overall fixtures, they're not great. They've got Bournemouth away this week. They've got Arsenal at home on the final day, and they have the Europa League conference semi-finals against a very strong team in Shakhtar Donetsk, with Bournemouth away in between. So how many Palace players will start against Bournemouth? We don't know. Same with the Everton and Manchester City fixtures, which follow that semi-final tie. We don't really know if he's going to rest players for either or both of those fixtures. And Arsenal, if they reach the final, they play at Arsenal at home a few days before the final. Now, obviously, if you're playing a Europa Conference League final, which will mean everything to the fans will forgive you for not starting with a full strength 11 at home to Arsenal on the final day. So Palace options, I don't think are that important, honestly. I'm on a free hit and I want to maximize the double game week that Palace have. But I'm actually thinking of only bringing in two Palace players at the moment, especially the best pick for Palace is Henderson in goal. Because I don't think there's any way he doesn't start all the 5 games here, and you'll have an extra goalkeeper points on your double game week. And for me, it'll be bench boost. So if you're playing wildcard and bench boost, then Henderson is a must, I think. Otherwise, even Ismail Assar, I don't think is a particularly good pick at the minute. I'm not sure how many minutes he'll get at Bournemouth. I mean, those are difficult fixtures as well. Manchester City away, Arsenal at home. It's a little bit tricky. Looking at Arsenal's fixtures, they got a very nice run in. The question is, do you go for three Arsenal defence? Do you go for an Arsenal midfielder or attacking player? Gyökeres was pretty good last night, I thought, against Atleti. Not a bad game from him. And Havertz is Havertz injured? I think it might be a good idea to look at Gyökeres. It might also be a good idea to look at a midfield player, possibly Eze. But honestly, you might want to wait until game week 37, the Burnley home game, and Crystal Palace away before bringing in an Arsenal attacker. So if you're going for three Arsenal defenders, do remember that Burnley and Palace are very useful for Arsenal attackers. I'm going to have two Arsenal defenders and then look at a third Arsenal player in game week 37. Aston Villa have nice, I was going to say they have nice fixtures this week and next week, but not in 37, 38. Got Liverpool and Manchester City. They're pretty much assured of a Champions League spot, but they have Europa League semi-finals against Nottingham Forest this Thursday, which is tonight as I'm recording, and next Thursday. So this Tottenham home game looks like a great game for Rodgers or Watkins, but how many minutes will they get? Will they start even? I mean, Villa pretty much secure of a Champions League spot. They've got Burnley away next week. They're probably fine for Champions League. So I would be worried about bringing in Villa players. I'm not going to bring in Villa players. I think they'll win both these games, by the way. I think they'll beat Spurs even with a understrength team. Obviously, they'll beat Burnley. So, but I'm reluctant to bank on Watkins or Rodgers, especially with like Liverpool, Man City in the last 2 games. So I'm staying away from Aston Villa. Bournemouth's very interesting because the thing with Bournemouth is that they seem to play for their manager so strong, and I don't think they're gonna like throw any of these games. They got Man City at home in game week 37, which is tough. But Crystal Palace at home, Fulham away, I think they could do well, especially Palace at home. I'm actually going to have a Bournemouth player because I think Palace are going to be under strength away at Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth might score a few goals in this game. You might see two or three goals from Bournemouth in this game. And I think at Fulham they could be fine. At Forest they might do well. I think one Bournemouth player is a good idea. Brentford have West Ham at home, which looks like a very good fixture. If you've got Igor Thiago, you're obviously looking at that thinking he might score. Then they have Manchester City away. Then they've got Palace at home, who by that time may not rest players, and Liverpool away in the so they've got Liverpool, Manchester City away. I love Igor Thiago. He's been so great for me this season, and I think he's a really good striker. In the current Premier League, with all its physicality, he's kind of ideal to win you the ball and keep possession and eke out chances, which he's good at finishing, and he scores with both feet. Well, not at the same time, but I should say he scores with either foot for you pedants out there. Right, so Brighton, a lot of people are talking about Brighton. The next three are great. I mean, the thing about Newcastle, I don't think people are talking about Newcastle as, oh, they're weak now. They're not, okay? They've finally got their midfield trio playing together again, which is Bruno Guimaraes, Wellington, and um, Tonali. And these are all really good players, and they're good at home. And Bruno Guimaraes has been good at home all the way through the season. I think Newcastle are going to win this game against Brighton on Saturday. But of course, then Brighton play Wolves at home and Leeds away. And Man United at home is not a bad fixture on the final day. So these fixtures for Brighton, I think a Brighton defender is a very good idea. I think an attacking player is also a good idea, like Welbeck or Hinchelwood are good ones. Excuse me. So thank you. So I'm going to go for a Brighton player, I think. Burnley, ignore. Well, ABC, we're still on C, and we've got like alphabetically, the Premier League is loaded towards the front of the alphabet. Uh, Chelsea have miraculously turned their form around. Isn't that strange? That new manager must be great, eh? It must be really good at motivating them, the standing manager, because suddenly they're playing football. Hmm. Okay. Chelsea have Nottingham Forest at home, Liverpool away, Spurs at home, Sun away. Good fixtures. Liverpool away is not easy, but the other three are good. If you have Joao Pedro and you're not on a wild card, I would hold on to him. I don't know about other Chelsea players, but especially, but I think he you wouldn't sell him, would you? Crystal Palace, we've talked about. Everton have Man City at home, Palace away, Sunderland at home, Tottenham. These are not bad fixtures. Obviously, if you've got an Everton player, you leave them on the bench this weekend. But I think Dewsbury Hall or a defender are good bets for the rest of the season. Fulham have Arsenal away this weekend, which is difficult. Then they've got three good fixtures: Bournemouth at home, Wolves away, Newcastle at home. If you've got Harry Wilson, you're not on a wild card, hold on to him. Leeds, Burnley at home, Tottenham away, Brighton at home, West Ham away. Great fixtures. And I think you want at least one Leeds player, possibly two. I think I might have two, even three, but I'll show you my team in a minute. Liverpool have very difficult fixtures. Man United away, Chelsea at home, Villa away, Brentford at home. I mean, the way they're playing this season, they could lose all of those. They could win them as well. But I don't think you're bringing in Liverpool players at this point if you don't have them. Manchester City, you need three Manchester City players. The question is, do you go O'Reilly, Cherky and Haaland, or O'Reilly, Semenyo and Haaland? Or do you do what I'm going to do and you go Cherky, Semenyo and Haaland? And this is a real gamble, but I'll show you that in a minute. Manchester United, Liverpool at home, not easy. Sunderland away, Forest at home, and, and Brighton away. So Manchester United, not bad. Obviously, Bruno, maybe one other, maybe one other Manchester United player apart from Bruno Fernandes. All right, Newcastle I've talked about. Very decent fixtures. I'm going to bring in a Newcastle player, I think. Maybe not. Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White's looking strong, but they have Villa in the Europa League. I wouldn't bring in. I would not bring in this week anyway. Spurs, I wouldn't touch them. They've beaten Wolves. I don't think they're going to win this game at Villa. I think even they could struggle at home to Leeds, to lose Chelsea away, and then Everton at home's tough. For me, they're finished. I could be wrong. Sunderland look shaky now, but they've got Wolves away. So if you've got a Sunderland defender, you probably wouldn't sell them this week. But I'm not. I don't think. I think they've done their job and they know it. They're quite happy with what they've achieved, and they've achieved a lot. West Ham, Brentford away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle away, Leeds at home. If you think Bowen is worth a shout on those fixtures, I would agree. I'm not going there myself, but he always seems to score points against me. I don't know why I don't have him, but they're decent fixtures, except for Arsenal. Wolves, we don't really want to talk about Wolves, do we? No. So my wild card. This is what I've come up with so far. I mean, this is very much a work in progress. When my team is finally when this game week finally starts, if you're in the overpaid league, you can go and have a look at my transfers because I must have made like 25 transfers already. I've changed this team around a lot because value price isn't really a thing at the minute. So you can make as many transfers as you want. So I've looked at this and I've gone Raya and Gabriel from Arsenal, Henderson on the bench for the double next week. I'm playing bench boost next week, so I won't have to play my Palace players except on the bench boost. I've got Lacroix, and the logic there is I think he's more likely to get 2 games than any of the other defenders in the double game week. I could be wrong, but I think he might get more minutes than even Munoz, who's a very good pick. And next week I might bring in a Palace player for just that week, but I don't really want to because of their other fixtures. I've gone for 2 Bournemouth players. Now, the logic here is that despite the fact they're playing, is it Manchester City next week? Let me just check that. Bournemouth next week. No, it's not. They're playing. Uh, no, they're playing Fulham away next week. Yeah. No, I've gone for 2 Bournemouth. I'm always mixing up Bournemouth and Brentford. Because I think that this game against Crystal Palace could be a really good game to like for them to score few goals and Palace, to beat Palace quite easily because of Palace's Shakhtar Europa League Conference League fixtures. It's a bit of a gamble, but I think they're good picks for this, and I can always get rid of them or one of them in game week 37 if or 6 if they're not doing it. So I think especially for this week, I've got 2 Bournemouth players. I've got Strauch for Leeds and Calvert-Lewin for Leeds. Now, this I may add to this. Okafor is a good pick. There could be another defender from Leeds. I could play a defender instead of Truffert, actually. But I think Truffaut's highly underrated, by the way. People talk about, they never talk about him on the streams that I watched. They never talk about Truffert. But if you look at his points, right, he's literally 8 points less than Senesi over the whole season and zero point 0.5 cheaper, which was something earlier in the season. His price kind of mattered. He was 4.5 for a long time. Because of his attacking returns, because he doesn't get as many DEFCONs as Senesi. I've had him for a long time since my first wildcard. I just really like him. I just think he. So I've got him in for this weekend, hoping he'll get an assist. Right. Um, I've gone for Cherky, Semenyo, and Haaland. It's a huge gamble not to have O'Reilly. I do think Manchester City will be trying to score goals, which could leave room for opposition to score goals. I think that they have to win games by more goals than Arsenal do, or at least make sure Arsenal don't win games by more goals than they do. So I do think they'll be trying to score goals. And the way Man City play, they leave room behind. So hoping, I'm hoping, sorry, when I do these in the morning, I do get coughs. And I'm sorry, I'm really sorry about that. Um, I'm really hoping that O'Reilly doesn't um, punish me too hard in these games. But let's see what happens. It's a gamble, and it could be stupid, but I do want to do it because I think Semenyo will start. I don't care what people are saying. I think he'll start every single game. I think Pep loves him, and I think he scores goals. Cherky doesn't. I don't think Cherky scores as many goals as Semenyo does, but Cherky's definitely the best player in the Premier League right now, no question. On form, on current form, he's the best player in the Premier League, Cherky. So up front, I've got Thiago at the minute. I might transfer him out for someone else because I don't like Brentford's fixtures after this week. So before the deadline, which is tomorrow, by the way, Friday night deadline, I might get rid of Thiago. On the bench, I've got Van Heck for Brighton's good fixtures. I love Dewsbury Hall. I think he's a really good pick. Again, I might transfer him out. I might decide that somebody else is a better bet. But I think the ones that I'm set on are Raya, Gabriel, Struijk, Truffert, Turkey, Semenyo, Haaland, and Henderson. Those are the players I'm set on. And Bruno Fernandes, obviously. I haven't even mentioned him. He's so obvious. So that's my wild card. If you're in the overpaid over the bar league, this is Freddie, for example. This is what you you can match yourself against. I mean, it won't be completely like this, but pretty much like this. So I'm hoping that this will at least claw me back some rank. Now, what's my goals now? Well, I've given up on a four-digit rank now. Really, the goal is top 50K. I mean, it doesn't really matter whether you finish 25K or 35K. It's the same. So I'm hoping that I can, with my advantage of wildcard and bench boost, I won't lose any more overall rank and I will finish top 50K for the season. And I'll repeat, if Freddie beats me and I finish top 50K, I'll be happier than if I beat Freddie and I finish outside the top 50K. Because for me, it's all about the overall rank. When I look back at my overall ranks, I've had three, possibly four top 50K finishes. Let me have a look. Hang on. I've had these how many years I've been playing FPL. So let's look at this. I've been playing since 2007. Um, and there's one, two, three, four top 50K finishes in there. So this will be my fifth top 50K finish if I can make it. And that's a big deal for me. My favorite hobby is FPL. And to get 50K rank at the end of the season is very, very satisfying. So let's hope. Well, I will hope. I don't. I'm sure you're not hoping if you're in the overpaid league. You're sick to death of me winning the overpaid league. But I hope I win the overpaid league. If you've been watching to this point, thank you so much for watching to the end. Smash the like. I never say that, but I don't really. I care. Yeah, of course I care if I get a like. But I mean, I know this is not watched by many people except the few people who do. Thank you so much for watching. If you do, I know it's not great content, especially with me coughing all the way through. So sorry about that. And let's stop sharing and end the video. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next week. Bye bye.